Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Larry Snyder, your host, and I'm so grateful to be back supporting Songea's kids. What an unusual year 2020 has been. The one thing that's not unusual is the need for Songea's kids to continue to seek support in both Songea and Ludakira for these wonderful children who need our help. And that's what tonight is all about. We're going to start with a welcome from my friend, the president of Songea's kids, Sherry Valderrama. Sherry?
Thank you, Larry, and welcome everyone, or karibuni, as they would say if we were in Tanzania. Well, tonight we've got so many new people who've joined us, and you're in really great company because we also have many people here who have been with us from the very beginning. Songea's Kids is a 100% all-volunteer organization, so the funds that we raise go directly to support the orphans and vulnerable children in Songea and Ludakira, where our programs are. So to set the stage for tonight, I'd like to share with you a brief video that highlights the work that we've done together over the years to make a difference in the lives of orphans and vulnerable children.
Orphaned, hungry, sick, destitute, threatened. In this remote, impoverished region of southern Tanzania, it is difficult to comprehend the level of poverty where families struggle to survive. It's even more dire for a child who loses one or both parents. Without help, these children would not survive or become exploited. Songea's Kids was founded to serve these orphaned and vulnerable children as a non-profit, 100% volunteer organization that works with other international partners so that impoverished children and villagers can break the cycle of poverty and lead productive lives. Songea's Kids support these orphaned and vulnerable children with foster care, providing food, safe shelter, and health care. From this foundation, the opportunity for a bright future through education is provided. Songea's Kids develops the community through clean water, infrastructure, and economic development projects, elevating the living standards of the local villagers and the children. Songea's Kids approaches its mission by partnering with Tanzanian organizations. This approach will develop local ownership and expertise that will eventually be self-sufficient. In addition to Tanzanian partners, Songea's Kids works with an array of partner organizations for community development. Some of the key projects are wells, solar power, Hope Village Architectural Plan, Hope Village Rotary Dispensary, the Masonry Classroom, the Chicken Co-op, the Tailoring Co-op. Songea's Kids gives you the opportunity to build hope and transform lives of children who would otherwise be in a hopeless situation. You get a one-on-one connection via letters, all the way to meeting your child on a Songea's Kids Friends to Friends trip, where you can see firsthand how you made a difference in their life. We urge you to become part of Songea's Kids. You will make a difference. There are children waiting for you.
This is a celebration. Tonight I'm going to share some special stories with you. First, I'm going to introduce you to Nashon Kikalau, who is the CEO of the Hope Village organization, an organization that is building a residential orphan housing community that will also have healthcare and education and entrepreneurial opportunities for local villagers. Nashon is going to give us all an update on the progress being made this year to build Hope Village.
Hope Village organization envisioned to nurture the orphans and the vulnerable children. The purpose is to make orphans and vulnerable children a change agents in the community. In order to arrive at this target, Hope Village organization planned to construct Hope home settlement for the orphans and vulnerable children at the Hope Village site to provide vocational training to orphans and vulnerable young people to become self-reliant. The masonry class already built is a good start. However, Hope Village organization expects to build more classes to accommodate as many orphans and vulnerable young people as possible. Apart from masonry class, a nice dispensary is already in place. The facility will contribute to serve the community from maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, under 5 mortalities, malaria and other diseases. Those have been a serious problem in the community because of inadequate hospital equipment, late treatment and insufficient of medical supplies and medicine. The dispensary is well equipped with furniture and medical equipment. The facility is expected to be opened on November 2020 after the general election of the president, members of parliament and ward representatives. Many thanks to the Songea Kids Board and the US donors who have made the health facility and masonry class a reality. Thank you so much.
Many in our audience tonight have donated their time, their pro bono expertise, and their funds to help turn the Hope Village vision into reality. Tonight, as we take our virtual tour of Hope Village, I hope that you can imagine the excitement of the local villagers as they took their local tour of the healthcare dispensary and the masonry classroom. We are so excited for the upcoming opening of the Rotary Healthcare Dispensary. This will be the first comprehensive healthcare facility in the area that will be equipped with the medical staff, diagnostic capabilities, and medicines that can be accessed by local villagers and eventually by the orphans who will reside in Hope Village. In Tanzania, the lack of access to healthcare, especially in rural areas, is serious. Leading causes of death from HIV/AIDS, malaria, typhoid, and other diseases. As we take our tour of the Rotary Healthcare Dispensary, I'd like to point out that the facility's water supply and electricity are both made possible by the use of solar power. You'll also note that there is a special birthing room, something that the local women are eagerly looking forward to, as far too many women in rural areas die in childbirth from a simple lack of access to care. The opening is planned for late November 2020. The facility is fully equipped and furnished and is also stocked with medicines. In rural areas, medicines are particularly scarce, so being able to open our dispensary with our pharmacy fully stocked with medicines donated by the Sammamish Washington Rotary Club is so exciting to the villagers. Several individuals and organizations donated the funds to furnish and equip each room, as you will see by the plaques of recognition over each door. The medical staff has been identified and all are ready to begin operations. Now I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Wanjara, who is set to begin caring for patients once the dispensary opens.
It's a good thing to have this facility at this rural area because the community will be saved a lot. They walk long distance to reach quality services, but at this facility, I've been surprised to find this kind of equipment, very modern.
Are you expecting now, probably in the near future, to come and stay here as a medical doctor?
Of course, yes, and I love.
When the village of Ludukira donated the land to build Hope Village, one request they had was to build vocational schools where they and their children could gain valuable skills to become self-reliant. The masonry classroom is the first vocational classroom to be constructed on site. Hope Village employed and trained local villagers from Ludukira to help build the classroom. The constructions, furnishings, equipment for the classroom were made possible by the generosity of a group of individuals and organizations who made individual donations, held group fundraisers, and of course provided encouragement every step of the way. Two of the donors to the masonry classroom even traveled with us to Tanzania in 2018, personally visiting the construction site with us while it was still nothing more than a pile of bricks drying in the hot summer sun. The workers on site even let us try our hands at making bricks, which was great fun, though we were not particularly successful at it. But now the building is completed and ready to begin enrolling students for a January 2021 class. Tonight you can help Ludukira villagers and other students gain valuable skills that will help them to become self-reliant by contributing to our Vocational Training Scholarship Fund on our Greater Giving site. In Songea, we partner with a local NGO called Jirani Mwema, which means good neighbor in Kiswahili. Jirani Mwema works very closely with the Tanzanian Child Welfare Services to identify those children who are in most urgent need of care. Songea's Kids identifies USAA child sponsors, and they provide safe shelter, food, clothing, education, and health care to help these children who are in urgent need. Since our founding, we have sponsored over 100 children. And tonight I'm going to introduce you to Yona Mkula, who is the COO of Jirani Mwema, and he has sent in a video to greet you.
Hi everybody, my name is Yona Mkula. I'm working as a COO at Jirani Angel. A lot of children in Tanzania are living in poor condition due to the several reasons, like have parents but they do not have ability to care of their children. We Jirani staff are in better locality, which is conducive for persisting providing service to the children. We could not achieve it without the collaboration with the Songea's Kids. We please Songea's Kids to receive our sincere thanks for all your support you have done to us. We please you to continue to support and to trust us on making sure that the funds you send to us are used for intended purpose. In a pandemic disease, with collaboration with the Songea's Kids, we are providing prevention material to all the kids, like sanitizer, hand washing soap, bucket for hand wash, and mask to kids. Lenga has been employed to Jeremema to run the Taring Corp. She is one sewing the mask. There is for girls. We use it to give to our kids, and some of it we sell to our community. We thank you so much. We welcome Tanzania. We miss you a lot. Thank you so much.
According to the World Health Organization, since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, there have been more than 40 million people infected globally, with more than 1 million deaths. In early spring, when we learned how dangerous and deadly this virus is, we reached out to our Songea's Kids community to help us protect the kids, their caretakers, and their communities. What I love about our Songea's Kids community is that they always respond to meet urgent needs. For example, individual community members, along with the Sammamish Washington Rotary Club, funded training programs, masks, hygiene products, PPE, and more to keep the orphans and vulnerable children and their caretakers and communities safe. To date, our kids and their communities have remained safe from COVID. Over the course of the next year, as the world community struggles to develop effective vaccines and treatments, we need to continue to provide specialized supplies to keep the kids safe. Tonight, we hope to raise $10,000 to fund COVID prevention in 2021.
In the villages where most of our kids live, housing is made from local materials that do not always stand up to the elements. Each year, we need to invest in strengthening, renovating, and sometimes even building a new home for our kids. This year, during torrential rains, the home of Yassini and Hamadi literally collapsed. Thankfully, we were able to build a new home for them along with a separate latrine. In 2021, we need to continue to invest in safe shelter. Our goal is to raise $10,000 towards that purpose tonight.
Songea's Kids has always risen to meet the special needs that some children have, whether it's a special school for the hearing impaired, a wheelchair for a child who cannot walk, or special medications for a child born with HIV. We provide individualized support to address quality of life situations. This is Irene. She was born deaf and goes to a school for the hearing impaired where she's number 1 in her class. This is Rahima, and as you can see, this year she got a new wheelchair, which helps her get around. For me, one of the most touching stories is that of Juma. Every now and then something wonderful happens that just plain fills the heart. During our 2019 trip to Tanzania, we met Juma, a young boy walking with a crutch. One day when working in the fields, he was bit by a snake, resulting in the amputation of the lower half of his leg. We knew we had to do something to help him, so when we returned to the U.S., we identified a sponsor for him and were able to fund a prosthetic leg. It is so exciting to see him walk without crutches.
Becoming a child sponsor can literally save a young life. We have so many inspiring stories of the impact that a child sponsor can have on the life of a child. Tonight, I'm sharing the story of Slaju and the Christensen family.
Hi, we're the Christensens. We first got involved with Songea's Kids a few years ago, and we were actually at an event where we were putting together some medical supplies to send over to Songea to start their medical unit. And while we were there, I had my kiddos with me, and they saw this picture of Slaju. And it was a really wonderful experience because they brought it over and they said, "Mom, we need to sponsor Slaju. We need to help Slaju." This was his picture at the time. He had been in an accident. He was not able to get some of the medical treatment that he needed. And it was really touching actually because my kids knew that he needed help and that we could be the ones to help him. So at the time we sponsored Slaju, and they wrote him some letters, and we've been communicating with him and his father, which has been a really neat experience. And just last year, actually, my mom was able to go over to Tanzania, and she was able to meet Slaju and his father. And this is a picture of Slaju now. He's back in school. He had the surgery that he needed. His leg is doing so much better. His family is doing so much better. His father was so sweet and sent such notes of gratitude. And it has been such a rewarding experience for all of us in our family to be able to think about and pray about and help another child who really we feel like is a part of our family now. So we love Slaju, and this has been an amazing experience for us.
About a year ago, we saw this picture of Slaju, and we really wanted to help him. He was also my age, and we thought that was really cool.
As part of this sponsorship, our family decided to dedicate one meal a month, where we typically would go out, but we decided that we would eat in, and we would dedicate the portion of the funds from that meal to Slaju. And it was a family decision, and so each and every month, if we decide to go out to eat, it's one of the kids or us as adults, we just say, hey, this is a Slaju meal, so we're going to eat in tonight. And we get to prepare a family meal here at the house, and we get to eat it, and we get to just talk about the great blessings that we have in this life and how we have the opportunity to go out there and help a child and a family in need all the way in Tanzania. So that is our Slaju meal story.
Tonight, our goal is to raise funds to add 10 new orphans and vulnerable kids to our program. 5 of these kids are highlighted on our donation page, and there are many additional children on the waiting list. $1,000 per year covers both basic and education needs for one child. Whether you choose to sponsor a child on your own, share the cost of a child's sponsorship with a friend or family member, or just make a one-time donation, you have the opportunity to rescue and transform the life of a child. We know that education is the key to transforming lives and breaking the cycle of poverty. When children are given the opportunity to learn, they obtain the knowledge, skill, and ability to support themselves and their future families. At Songea Kids, all children receive basic education through secondary school or vocational training, but we have to obtain the special scholarships for those who qualify for college or university level study.
Since our founding in 2007, 100% of the children we have supported have had the opportunity to obtain a basic education. And now, for the first time ever in their village, kids who qualify for college or university have been able to attend because once again, our Songea's Kids community has responded to the challenge and funded special scholarships. We have 4 students who have graduated from university or college. We also have 4 students currently in university or college programs. 4 additional kids will be sitting for their national exams this year. If successful, they will be eligible to enter university or college in fall 2021, provided we are able to obtain scholarships for them. Many of our kids choose to get vocational training where they obtain certificates in such areas as masonry, carpentry, tailoring, mechanics, plumbing, welding, and electricity. This year, I want to highlight 3 vocational students who are now self-supporting. Anastasia received a diploma in plumbing, a skill that is in very high demand. Octavian obtained a diploma in mechanics and has become an entrepreneur, opening his own welding business. Vocational training for Viraja made it possible for her to become the new manager of the Geranium Wema Tailoring Co-op, where she oversees village women who make and sell clothing, COVID-19 masks, and Days for Girls kits.
This year, our goal is to establish a scholarship fund of $25,000 to support those kids selected for vocational training, college, and university. Your support will help them achieve their dream and serve their communities. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our turn, our chance, our opportunity to invest in Songea's Kids, and I'm going to give you several ways to do that. There are a number of levels, and I do want to call attention to that link there on your screen. When you find the level that's comfortable and meaningful to you, just simply click on that link and make your contribution to Songea's Kids tonight. The first one I want to tell you about is the $5,000 level. One donor at this level could build a new home for a child and their entire family. 2 donors at this level could fund university for 4 students for 1 entire year. If that's the level that's comfortable, again, please click on that link and make that contribution now. $2,500 level, one donation at this level could fund 5 vocational students for an entire year. 2 donations at this level could fund 2 university students for an entire year. Please, if education is a really important part of how you like to contribute, that would be a terrific place to do that at the $2,500 level. level, that can provide safe shelter, food, clothing, education, and health care for one child for an entire year. There is a long list of orphans and vulnerable children in urgent need of care right now. At the $500 level, Sherry talked a little bit about special needs and why this is so important to support Songea's kids' special needs programs. You can do that at the $500 level. You could provide specialized medical services to children with special needs. $250 level, we call that founders recognition. We of course have to say thank you to Linda and Sally for building hope and transforming lives. None of us would be here today supporting Songea's kids without them. So thank you one more time to Linda and Sally. And at the $100 level, that funds 5 Days for Girls hygiene kits so girls can stay in school the entire month. It also supports tutoring assistance for kids struggling academically. And finally, it provides extra COVID-19 supplies for 20 children and their caretakers for one entire month. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, here's your final opportunity to contribute. This provides $50, provides a bicycle for a kid who has to bike to school, just lives too far away from school. It also buys soccer balls and jump ropes so kids can have fun. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are your opportunities to support Songea's kids tonight. Thank you so much for making all those contributions. 2 quick things. Number one, would you please make sure that if you work for a company that provides matching, that you do that paperwork as soon as possible and make sure those contributions get to Songea's kids. That's super important, and we're so grateful for the generous employers in our area that make that possible. The second thing, would you please share this message tonight with other people that you believe in your community would love to help and invest in kids in Africa, especially Songea's kids, and they're there waiting for us. It's very meaningful to make contributions in Africa as I have. And here we go. We're going to go back to Sherry to say goodnight. Thank you so much for letting me be part of this. Take care. Sherry?
I want to thank everyone tonight for joining us to help us build hope and transform lives of children and their villages in Songea and Ludakira. 2020 has been a year where everything has been turned upside down because of COVID-19. But one thing that hasn't changed is that these kids still need our help, and they need it now more than ever. I want to thank you for your generosity and let you know that we will be leaving our giving site open until November 17th. So if you feel compelled to go back and revisit some of the areas for a donation, we're very thankful if you do. And we would love it if you would take a time to share our site with friends and colleagues or family members who you think might also have an interest in helping to transform the lives of these kids. Thank you, or as they say in Tanzania, asante sana.